Good morning and welcome to Algebra for Thursday, May 28th. On the board is the prompt you had to do for homework last night, so let's solve it nice and quick. Identify the A, B, and C. A is -2, B is -4, and C is +6. So x equals -4 plus or minus the square root of -4 squared minus 4 times -2 times 6 all over 2 times -2. Obviously, identifying the A, B, and C makes the process a whole lot easier. After that, you are, again, just substituting in to solve. Be careful with your calculator when you're talking about negatives. -4 is 4, plus or minus the square root of. -4 squared is 16. A negative times another negative times a positive will be positive. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 6 is 48. All over -4. And that gives us 4 plus or minus the square root of 64 over -4. 64 is a perfect square. It is 8 over -4. And that brings us to our two solutions we have to create. One where, and I'll just pull it up here, x is 4 plus 8 over -4. That's 12 over -4, which is -3. Or x equals 4 minus 8 over -4. That's -4 over -4, which is 1. So x equals -3 and 1. Those are the two x-intercepts for the problem I gave you for homework last night. Okay. Once again, remember the quadratic formula gives you the solutions to the equation. The solutions are the places where the parabola will cross the x-axis. Once again, there could be one solution if the parabola bounces off the x-axis only at one place. There could be two solutions if it passes through and then turns around and comes back up through again. There's two locations where the parabola would have crossed the x-axis. Or there could be zero solutions if the parabola never gets to the x-axis. If it never gets there, there's no place where it crosses through, so there is no solution to the equation. All right, so what really is the part of the equation that tells us how many solutions there will be? Well, yesterday I told you that it is the number that is under the square root. So in this case, the number was 64, a positive number. There were two solutions. Yesterday I showed you an example where that number under the square root symbol was the number 0. And it resulted in only one solution. This is telling us something very specific. So I'm going to give you some vocabulary and a little bit of guidance as to how to use it. In the quadratic formula, where x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, the piece of the equation that's under the square root has a name. So the b squared minus 4ac part has a name, and it's called the discriminant. Write that down. It's an important vocabulary word. The discriminant is the value under the square root, and it will tell us how many solutions there will be. It won't tell us what those solutions are. We have to solve the equation for that. But it will tell us how many solutions there will be. Here's the quick and easy guideline so that you know what the discriminant is telling you. If the discriminant is a number greater than 0, a positive number, there will be two solutions, and it's your job to find them. If the discriminant is the number 0, there will be one solution, And again, you'll solve the equation in order to solve for it. However, if the discriminant is less than 0, a negative number, which we saw an example of yesterday, there will be no solution to the parabola. No solution means, again, the parabola does not cross the x-axis. So 2 solutions will be a parabola that crosses through twice. 1 solution is a parabola that touches the x-axis and bounces off. And no solution is an instance where it never gets to the x-axis. Okay? Whether it opens up or opens down is irrelevant. It never gets to the x-axis. Okay? This is the quick and easy guideline that will tell you what the discriminant is telling you, which is how many solutions there will be. Again, if the question you're answering is how many solutions will there be, you could just use the discriminant and answer the question. If the question says solve for x, well, if you use the discriminant, you'll know how many answers you'll find, but that won't be the answer. You have to solve the equation for that question. All right, so here's our guideline. Again, if the value under the square root is a positive number greater than 0, there will be 2 answers. If the number under the square root is the number 0, there will be only 1 solution. And if the discriminant, the value under the square root, is less than 0, a negative, there will be no solution to the quadratic equation. So let's use it and see what we come up with. So in the following questions, the question is simply, how many solutions will there be? I'm not asking you to solve the problem, just how many solutions will there be? So here's your first example. That says y, but it's supposed to say 1. Okay, so the first problem, y equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. All I want to know is how many solutions will there be? Use the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. Now, it's still a good idea to identify a, b, and c if you need that kind of guidance, or you could just plug them in from the equation if you know where to look. B squared, that's 3 squared minus 4 times a is 2, and times c is 1. That's 9 minus 4 times 2 times 1 is 8. That's the number 1. How many solutions will there be when the discriminant is the number 1? Well, 1's a positive number, that's more than 0. 2 solutions. So, the answer here is 2 solutions. Again, we're not finding the solutions, we're finding how many solutions there will be. Because that's the question I asked you. How many solutions will there be to the following quadratic equations? Y equals x squared plus 2x plus 5. Again, just how many solutions will there be? So b squared minus 4ac, that is 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5. That's what the numbers are going to be. So what is the answer to the problem? Well, I get 4 minus 4 times 1 times 5 is 20, and that's negative 16. Negative 16 is a negative number, and if the discriminant is negative, there are no solutions. All right. Because a negative number under a square root cannot be solved in the real number system. And the last example for this, y equals x squared plus 8x plus 16. Again, b squared minus 4ac is 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16. That's 64 minus 4 times 1 times 16 is 64. That's the number 0. When the discriminant is the number 0, there will be only 1 solution. And again, we didn't find the answer, we didn't find the solution itself. We found how many solutions there will be. Please keep in mind, those are 2 different questions. It didn't say solve the quadratic equation, it said how many solutions will there be. Okay, great. Well, that's all we're looking for here, okay? Make sense? The homework you have for tonight is the short worksheet that was attached to this announcement, and it is using the discriminant to find out how many solutions there will be to a quadratic equation, as well as solving quadratic equations so that we still practice that. That's it. Download it, do it, give it back to me by tomorrow morning, and have a wonderful day.